actually. It's crazy. I'm forcing myself to do this because, hold on, we're moving my case. I've been trying to record this for, I can't even tell you how long. From it being an emotional thing to things happening, kind of getting in the way. It genuinely feels like I'm on the Truman Show.
A lot of strange things have been happening, Stan.
Look that up if you're not familiar with the Truman Show. It's kind of funny, but that just lets me know I need to get this done. I genuinely believe that. Like, when something is trying to stand in your way from doing it, then probably need to get it done. It's important. But anyway, I just need to exercise those muscles. I don't know how I'm going to organize this, edit this video, but I started the day with intentionally picking up the camera because I've been avoiding picking up the camera and recording, and again, just like I said in the first video, overthinking. So I am trying to retrain my own brain and shift paradigm, if you will, shift my automatic responses to things, and trying to navigate how to best break. Y'all fell down. Stay with me. Stay with it. How to best navigate breaking habits and retraining myself to do this. But the whole purpose of this, the entire purpose of this video is to let you into the raw and uncut about the Carolina's Pearl Girl, which is me. So I have some notes. Of course, I would prefer to just do this in a voiceover, but I think it will be better. You can get to know me by me doing a little bit face-to-face. I'm probably, during the editing, I'm going to show you some visuals, but I'm going to let you, until you saw the title, I think I'll keep it as is. So starting over at almost 50, Lord. Sounds crazy to say that out loud, but the why behind the pearls being me. So the Carolina's Pearl Girl. I know that's a different name, so I wanted to start a video out with that, and then I want to go into the why. I started all of this like coming from corporate America. I had no intentions of doing this, to be honest. Like I said, I'm not a fan of this world. It's intimidating as well as it's challenging. Hats off to you guys that pick up a camera and just do this. My daughters, obviously their generation, they weren't necessarily born into this per se, but I guess when they were old enough, it was already up and running. They are 26, about to be 26 and 22. But you guys, just letting you into me, getting to know me. But let me pull up my notes. And I'll try not to say I'll probably cut all that out. And I will look up at the camera, but I do have my notes in front of me, just in case I need to reference them, because I'll be talking about some emotional topics, and which is why I have, I'm gonna shift you guys a little bit, which is why I have been hesitating to do this anyway. This is my wellness room. I spent a lot of time in here. What I coined as my wellness room. So I've got my workout equipment over here. Like whenever I wasn't able to go out and about, I came in here, as well as I made this kind of like my, I would come here and do prayers. Dang, y'all keep falling. What the heck? I don't know how much of this I'll keep in, but I come in here and I do my prayers. I purchased these cards. I'm actually almost out. I need to order some more, but I would write here when I couldn't find my voice. I would write my prayers here. Sometimes the lights are off. Sometimes there are no words and just tears. And I try to create a little ambiance This is a lamp, but I think I need to change the batteries. But it's like a little lamp, and I would sit here and just, yeah, write. Sometimes I communicate better, not so much with words when my heart is heavy. So I would literally write. I'll show you some scenes. We're gonna have to turn this around, y'all. What the heck? I have my other stand here, so if I need to switch it, I'm gonna switch it to this stand. We are bootleg central right now because I don't know what I'm doing, and we're gonna figure it out. But anyway, let me see if y'all can see me. I'll bring you as close as I can. So I will put like my prayers in here. These are all the ones that I've written. This is so personal. This is another reason why it's been weird to record, because this is so intimate. I view like my relationship, prayer time, those things are personal and private and intimate. But just to give you an idea, I literally would write prayers and stuff on these. I need to empty this and start over, but it's packed. Prayers for other people, prayers, just prayers, whatever is on my heart, I would write it. But anyway, again, trying to be raw and uncut. I had no intentions of starting this like this, but I don't know, I wanted to let you guys into the behind the scenes stuff. So can y'all see me? Came here because I'm most comfortable. It's kind of my space to just unwind. And I just came from, the clip that I had this morning was me picking the camera up. I picked breakfast with you guys. So my daughters got me Pilates sessions. They just got me a couple just to test it out because it's two different studios that are here. Not just two different studios, but two different franchises. That's the word I'm looking for. So Tremble, as well as what's the name of that place? Club Pilates. So I went to the Club Pilates unbeknownst to them on my birthday, just because I wanted to do something different, just trying to diversify my workouts. And then they got me the Tremble just for my birthday, not even knowing. So hats off to them. They know me. Yay. And I've been enjoying that. But I went to that. I was just about to hop in the shower. I don't like to linger around the house with my street clothes on. Y'all will get to know me. But so I slipped those off and I was like, let me just go in my workout room. I'm a little bit of a germaphobe, but I was like, if I keep putting this off, it's just not a good thing. So I slipped on some loungewear and here we are. So we're gonna knock this out. I don't know if all of this will be this or if a little bit of this will be a voiceover, but we're gonna do this. Y'all get to know me, get to know the pearls, the why behind the pearls, and here goes. So of course it's a really different name, and I know a lot of people might look at it and like, what the heck is the Carolina Pearls? You open a seafood restaurant? Like, what are you doing? What is it? And it's none of that. Really, it's just a play on words. So Carolina, obviously, I'm a Carolina girl. I was born in a small town in North Carolina. Goldsboro, North Carolina. Shout out to Goldsboro. And so most of my paternal family are there, and I was raised by my father. So my mom and dad were once married, but they separated, and so I stayed with my father. But at any rate, I was born in Goldsboro, North Carolina. We are a military family. My dad, actually, he had planned on, during like my school years, he had planned on moving to Virginia at one point. And I was old enough to make that decision, I guess. But I think I might cut this part out. Pause. So anyway, born and raised in Goldsboro, North Carolina. And then I now live in South Carolina. So that's the play on words. So I just coined myself Carolina. I'm a Carolina girl because I love both North and South Carolina. North Carolina, my roots, and yeah, I love it. Carolina, that's home, where I've lived, grown, and evolved. Pearls, that's my journey. The pressure, the struggle, and the refinement that shaped me. Girl, well, that's just who I am. Still growing, still learning, still stepping into purpose. I wanted to make it a point that this channel isn't just about me. It's more so about transformation and purpose and stepping into who you were always meant to be. And trust me, I've learned the hard way in a number of different areas, and that I used to be an open book and a free spirit, and somewhere along the way I lost that. And you know, you heard me say in the other video that I assimilated. I tend to assimilate, and like I said, I haven't always been that way. But you know, over the years, I looked in the mirror most recently, and just like I didn't have a clue who I was looking at. I don't even know. But so nevertheless, this is my journey of reinvention. So for years, I was just existing. For people who know me, they know that I've had a number of surgeries, setbacks, survival, and it just became my normal. It's just been a vicious cycle of those things. I was so used to pushing through the pain that I forgot what it meant to truly live. Then in 2023, my father passed away, and that loss really shook me. It made me question everything. And hold on, I'm gonna pause for a second. I may cut this out, I'm not sure. This is why I didn't want to talk about it, and I know it's part of the grieving process, but I think I hesitated just processing out loud. I hesitated to do this on camera because I come to social media personally as an escape. I don't want to be sad when I come here. It's almost like people who watch crime shows or scary movies. I personally don't find that entertaining, and I get it. Some people may, but I want to laugh. I want to feel good. I want lighthearted. So I was reluctant to bring such heavy topics, but I think it's necessary. It's part of this part of my story, and of course we will transition. But this is the foundation. I think that it's so important to let you all know the why behind this channel, the why behind what I'm doing, and I am living out loud here. But I didn't realize at the time was that grief wasn't the only battle that I was about to fight. So during that time, shortly after my father passed, I became extremely ill. And we can unpack that another time, but I want to make this video as concise as possible without going down a rabbit hole. But I had, again, something else. We're gonna get this out of the way at the early part, because I hadn't shared this with very many people. I want to say maybe 3 people, and one of them was part of. I've only shared this with 3 people without going down a rabbit hole, and you'll see why. But one, it was traumatic. why I've been avoiding this video. But one, it was traumatic, and two, I felt like when I did share it, people look at you like, or they try to make sense of it and almost dismiss it. And in their defense, had I not gone through it, I wouldn't believe it either, more than likely, or I would question it. Now, having gone through it, and I'll get to the it, but now having gone through it, when I hear what we would coin as outrageous stories, or, man, that sounds out there, I'm more inclined to believe them. But shortly after, I would say a month or two after my father's passing, even it was almost like a steady decline. I just was not the same. So I had a near-death experience. After my father passed, I got really sick. My body just started shutting down. So doctors were prescribing I've been prescribed over 10 medications, but absolutely nothing was working. I struggled to eat, and my body essentially just started to reject food. And if I can find some, I don't even know if I have any, but I just started losing a lot of weight. Of course, I was still trying to grieve my father, the loss of my father. And then I was actually ill. I was physically sick, but also I'm a firm believer that stress and those things can also, it's not just mental, but it can affect your physical. Partnered with, keep in mind, I said that I was prescribed over 10 medications. Having worked in that space before, I know no matter what doctors say, I know that, drugs are tested. Nevertheless, my body was having a visceral response to the host of medications. My organs, everything was just strained. From the grief, I was strained. From the mental toll, I was strained. And now some of the side effects of medications, everything was taking a toll on me. And the exhaustion just became unbearable. And then one night, everything shifted. So I passed out. And in that moment, I literally saw myself. I remember I had no control of my body, but I just face planted in a pillow. Thank God I fell on my couch pillow. I'm visually remembering it, and I know this is part of grief. Gosh, I want to tell this story without crying. So I caught myself fading, and I don't know, let me just tell you my experience. I may expound, but I saw myself fading, and I was almost caught between two worlds. I remember feeling like weightless, I remember feeling weightless, as if I was being pulled into something beyond this life. And it was as if I was kind of hovering between life and whatever comes next. That's what I always say, a near-death experience. I was aware of my body, but it also felt like an undeniable pull towards something else. But then I heard a voice. I'm still out, and I can only feel like it was like the presence of an angel. And they asked me, did I want to come, do you want to go back, or do you want to come with me? I didn't hesitate. I said, go back. I was like screaming, no, I go back. I want to go back. And once I said I want to go back, I came to. Somehow I mustered up the energy to call 911. I have no recollection of time, but it's kind of one of those things that you equate to, I don't know how, but that's been the issue. I've been trying to make sense of it, but miracles don't necessarily make sense. And yeah, I know that it was a miracle, but so I called 911. The ambulance came, and I'm trying to think. I don't remember all of that part. I do remember when I made it to the ER. I was too weak, like I was declining, like something was going on with my body, and I was getting weaker by the second. By the time I got to the hospital, like they had to like pull me off the gurney, but I'll spare you the details rather than going into all that visual. But so I was too weak to advocate for myself. I was trying to talk, and at this point I could barely talk because I was so weak. Mind you, I hadn't been able to keep anything down. My body was shutting down. Literally, my body was rejecting food. I tried to eat, trust me. And I'm sure people around me from the outside looking in, it looked like, girl, just eat. But it wasn't that simple. The things I would try to eat, my body was not processing them. But at any rate, I get to the ER, and the care team is talking with me, and somehow I asked them, I did a hand gesture asking for my phone, and my daughters were away at school at the time, in college, and I went to my sister's name, and I just hit it, and I couldn't even talk. I just hit it. So this was like maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. It was late in the evening. I'll have to look at timestamps to see if I can find it. I don't know if I'm gonna find it, but I call my sister, and I remember trying to talk to her, but I don't even know if I could. If I talk to her, I'll have to ask her, and then maybe I'll put it on the screen. Sorry, I'm getting a message coming through. But I remember the nurse telling my sister what was going on. My sister came, but the significance of that is I'm one of those people that I struggle to ask for help, but also I know where that comes from because I haven't had very many safe spaces to land. Doesn't mean that people wouldn't like to help, but anyway, it's significant because my sister and I don't talk a lot, but we both kind of are guilty of that, and we're working on that. But I knew she would be there for me if I needed her. don't know if I'll keep this part in. But when I made it to the ER, I was too weak to advocate for myself, and a nurse who I now believe was heaven sent for sure, she recognized like how critical my condition was, and she called my sister, spoke with my sister, who immediately rushed to the hospital. And while waiting for my sister, the nurse, they did like she petitioned the doctor for more tests beyond like the standard CBC test. So my sister, once she arrived, she knew. I told her like over the course of days I've been in and out of the ER just trying to figure out what was going on with me out, because I was getting weaker and weaker, but this was the most significant time that I'm explaining. But so my sister was aware of the most recent ER visits where they had been sending me home. But when she came in, she was afraid that they would send me home again, just with more and more medications, which were just exacerbating things and making matters worse. And my sister, those who know her, y'all might meet her on this channel, but she demanded to speak with the hospital director. She works in healthcare as well, so she knows she's not intimidated by the system, if you will. For that, I'm grateful. I'm trying to make this a little lighthearted, but that moment changed everything. The director reviewed everything, I could tell that he really listened, and he reviewed all of my charts and all my labs, everything, and he was just like, yeah, she should not be sent home. And he apologized for the mismanagement of care. And then the test results that nurse that I was telling you was an advocate, they came back, and my sodium levels had dropped to 123 at one point, and then another provider told me it dropped below 123. I mean, granted, I've worked in healthcare, and I was so surprised that a lot of people in that setting weren't even familiar with the importance of that. It's so weird. Like now, having gone through that, like it baffles me, but I now know that, and I'll put that information on the screen hopefully, but in just the gist of it, if your sodium levels drop below 125, it's high risk for seizures, brain swelling, death. And I am confident now that I can say boldly, because I had some shame about saying what I'd gone through, but that near death, I was on my way of transitioning. I know God spared my life. So my sodium it dropped to 123. They call that hyponatremia. So I wasn't just sick, I was dying. They immediately hospitalized me, and after days under observation and trying to stabilize me, but I was still weak. So I think I was in the hospital for, if not a week, just shy of a week, and they wanted me to stay, but there was an issue like with my insurance at the time. That's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down. My insurance, I don't know if those of you are familiar with the hospital system, but when they had to come in and do physical therapy with me to help me walk and get my strength and stuff back. But based on where I was, they didn't feel comfortable sending me home. They felt like I I was determined. They could tell I was determined, and they felt like my body would bounce back. But they were like, we think you will bounce back faster if you go to a rehab center where you can basically have around-the-clock care. Someone, you know, you're not just getting rehab or physical therapy once per week. Like if you did it outpatient, they didn't feel confident that my recovery would be optimal doing it that way. So they recommended that I go to rehab, and my insurance issues, it forced me to recover at home. So my daughters ended up, I'll see if I can find some screenshots of our messages, because again, they were away at school, and this shocked everyone's system, if you will. Like, they have their own lives, of course, so they supported me as best they can. We all thought that I was just gonna go back home, so they didn't initially just come right in, but as soon as they realized, once I was in there for a few days, they ended up flying and coming into town. But so the insurance forced me to recover at home, and I'm actually grateful, because when you're in the hospital, you can't really rest. You're eating their foods, and that's a whole nother story, y'all. But during that time of, you know, kind of getting settled at home, you know, I had my support system, and that's when God sent my angels, of course, the support that carried me through. I wasn't alone, thank God. My sister, granted, of course, like I said, we don't talk every day per se, but my sister fought for me, and when I couldn't fight for myself, and of course, my daughters, both in college at the time, dropped everything to take care of me.
We just set it up for you, Mommy. A mat on your pillow.
And also my sister, not my sister-in-law, but my ex-husband's sister, we are a blended family, but selflessly proving that love and family extend beyond blood. So I'm so grateful, because I was too weak to stand on my own at the time, but God surrounded me with people who would carry me until I could. So that experience didn't just change my body, it changed my entire spirit. And when I say that experience, just over the course of having gone through different surgeries and different things, I realized, you heard me kind of start the conversation out by saying, over the years, something just kind of chipped away at me, whether it be surgeries, traumatic events. I started to lose who I was, as well as just morph into someone I didn't even recognize. And before I knew it, I was drowning before I even realized I was drowning. And you know, from fire, that's why during this time I have to acknowledge you know, what's going on in LA is so, there's a parallel. Of course, I could never, my heart goes out to them, but the metaphor to that would be, you know, having gone through fires. We all have gone through fires, maybe not literally, but figuratively. It's refining. I'm praying that the people in LA will come out much better somehow, some way. Come out stronger, come out better. But my point in saying that is the fire that I've gone through relative to losing my dad, as well as the health scare, has been utterly life-changing. And I'm clinging to, that it's morphing me and it's been refining. But it changed my body and it changed my spirit. So during the time of the surgeries that I mentioned, sorry, I'm getting comfy. I'm sitting Indian style. So let's kind of lighten the air a little bit and let's just chat without it feeling so heavy. But what brought about the stepping stones of the Carolinas, so behind the pearls, is I had foot surgery and back surgery. I think I would have shown some visuals, but mobility aids had been a part of my life for years after, during those periods. So from the first surgery, I was on crutches, and that's whenever I initially first designed it. I like fashion, so I genuinely just went into it saying, I'm on these crutches longer than I anticipated. I have to go back to work, and I want my crutches to look nice. I want them to match. Anybody gonna match my old girl song? Not that song, but anybody match my style. So I did that, and I got so many compliments, even my doctors. But anyway, fast forward again, I'm not thinking business per se. I jokingly might have said it like, dang, everybody's stopping me everywhere I go with these things. So what the heck? But then fast forward, so that was 2017. And then, so these surgeries, it was the result of an accident. I was in a really bad car accident. And then, so I had foot surgery, and then I had back surgery later in 2019. And then after the back surgery, I had SI fusion. The back surgery, that was a long recovery as well. So I was on, I'm trying to think of the devices that I used. I wasn't on a walker, and I had the one knee scooter. Well, wait, that came later. I had a cane. I know that was towards the end. I was on my crutches. So I was on the crutches at first, and then I went to my one knee scooter, and then I was on the cane for God knows how long. But all of those things were bedazzled, if you will. I blinged everything out, except I didn't bling out my one knee scooter. I didn't, because that was more so just around the house. I didn't really take that out and about, but anything I took out and about, I wanted it to match my style. So anyway, those devices had become a big part of my life for years. It wasn't just short-lived. And I do recognize that some people, it's not short-lived, but it had become a lifestyle for me temporarily, and for some it is long-term. But the thing that people don't really talk about, especially, I can't really say especially, but from my experience, like when you go from being mobile to just it being a total shift, it takes a toll on you, not just physically, but mentally also, emotionally, and even spiritually. Because think about it, it just takes a big toll on you, where you can't get up and move. So much of your identity, it shouldn't be this way, but you being able to wear a certain thing or style yourself a certain way, wear a certain watch, wear certain earrings. Some people be like, oh my God, I don't feel like myself, I forgot my earrings. Or just think about if you couldn't really move around the way that that you once could, day in and day out for years. So for me, styling my mobility aids, that was just yet another reminder. So every time I picked up a mobility aid, it reminded me of what I had lost, my strength, my independence, my confidence, because it does. But I saw how the world looked at me differently overall, and how people assume weakness instead of resilience. So it really, outside of those moments, it chipped away at my self-image, my joy even, and even my faith sometimes during that time. And then, of course, I feel like I had a revelation. What if mobility aids could do the opposite? What if they could empower instead of diminish? That's when I started designing different devices that weren't just functional. I wanted to make sure they were beautiful, personal, and uplifting and comfortable. I'll show some clips where I wanted to make sure that they were comfortable, because sometimes even I'm pointing here because whenever you use crutches right here, if you're not using them correctly, even if you're leaning, this can start hurting. Your arms are hurt. But I wanted to make sure they're comfortable. I wanted to make sure they have inspirational messages on them, because like I said, they become an extension of you when you have them. They're right there beside you. You get out of the shower, they're right here. You're getting out of the bed, they're right here. So on the devices, I wanted to make it a point to have inspirational messages on them. And of course, I'll have that as an optional feature, but I've been trying to make it a point to have something that's a reminder. So for example, the reason why I made that distinction is because, like, on a lot of the kids, I say kids, but a lot of, because some adults will like Hello Kitty as well, or even Bluey or Barbie. But some of the character-based devices that I have designed, I've made sure to put the actual words up there, like, you are great, you are awesome. But for example, it's easier for me to integrate that into those designs. But let's say, like, for the bridal one that I've done thus far, I didn't see how to put those words, integrate those words into something so literal. So instead, I'll try to show a clip. I put angel wings there on the cushion, the arm cushion. And I'll just try to integrate it somehow, some way, some sort of light, some sort of inspiration for the individual to lift their spirits. And if nothing else, the design, you know, sometimes when you, even if you're not feeling your best, they say, you know, get dressed. When you look your best, you feel your best. That is what I'm trying to have it carry over into that space as well. That's exactly how I felt when I was getting dressed for work, and then I'm styling and profiling in my own way. That's what I like to believe. And then I go grab these metal steel iron devices that, yeah, they just didn't complement it. And though it might feel trivial to those who haven't walked in those shoes, no pun intended, but it's very significant when you are grasping and clinging to any sort of positivity where you're struggling to get out of bed. You know, I shared my most recent health scare, but even beyond that, there were times when I not only struggled physically, but mentally I struggled to get out of bed. And I know that I'm not the only one. And I've been fortunate where I've been able to recover, in my my experience with mobility devices has been short term, although years, but it's still short term. There's some people who will have their devices for a lifetime. So I want to help those individuals. Yes, physically, it's not just about the aesthetics per se. It's about what the aesthetics represent, and it's to help them on their journeys, and however I'm able to do that. So the goal, just to bring it full circle, because I refuse to let mobility define me, I don't want it to define anyone else either. So if you're in a season of loss, transition, or uncertainty, I want you to know that you're not too old, too broken, or too late for your purpose. And maybe your pearls are still forming. Maybe pressure feels unbearable, but don't give up. Please don't give up. And everything you've been through is shaping you. It's refining you. If my journey speaks to you, follow along. I'll be sharing my story, my purpose, and everything I've learned along the way. I think I'll do my best to do that, because this isn't just about me. It's about all of us stepping into who we were meant to be. So tell me what pearls are forming in your life. I'd love to hear in the comments. I don't want this to be one-sided. I want to get to know you guys. I may go live sometimes too. I'm not sure. I'm navigating this. Tell me what you want to see. If you have questions for me, I'll do my best to answer them. If I don't feel comfortable, I'll say thanks for the question. However, I'm not in a space where I'm prepared to talk about it, but either way, I'll do it. Let's make this interactive, but ask questions. And I want to grow and evolve. I want you guys to look back over this in a year and say, man, you've come so far. And I want to say the same about you guys. So don't hold me to anything I've said here or anything I do on my channel, because yes, I've come so far, but I continue to be a work in progress. And I thank God that He does not expect perfection from me. So y'all, please don't. I'm not. But do know my final thoughts are: pain is temporary, but purpose is eternal. I'm stronger than I ever imagined. And God spared me for a reason. And just like I'm sure many of you have gone through a lot, and He spared you for a reason. And I will walk boldly in my purpose. So this is my testimony. This is my why. And I'm just getting started. So best wishes to each and every one of you. And yeah, I'm rooting for you on your journeys as well. Take care.